Welcome to Healthy Lifestyle with Lorianne. I am Lorianne Casdia. Our goal here at Healthy Lifestyle is to inspire, educate, and empower you to fulfill a healthy, emotional, spiritual, and physical life so you can feel empowered to live the life you have always wanted and dreamed. Right, Vince?
Yes. Today
we have Vince Perrotta. Perrotta, what the heck?
It rhymes with a mozzarella.
Mozzarella. Yeah, I am a little hungry. So how are you doing?
Really well. How about you?
I'm doing real well. It's a great day. I'm so glad that all the listeners are here.
I am too.
And Vince Perrotta, you and I, every Tuesday morning, we get together in this networking group. Mm-hmm. And you were one of the founders of this particular division of the networking group. It's a virtual chapter. And I have a little surprise for you.
Oh.
So we got certified as a chartered chapter.
Oh, wow.
And this is a framed version for you.
Thank you. Wow, that's wonderful. You
being a chartered member of LATIP, of the Suffolk Virtual LATIP, which is a networking group that we sit in.
It's a really terrific group of folks. We have a lot of fun. It's amazing how you can do business with good people and have a great time doing it. And that's why I think the expression, find what you love doing.
Yes.
Doesn't feel like work. So.
Ever. So thank you so much. I really appreciate your jumping on board, coming in and doing this experiment with us, because most of these are chapters that are in person. Mm-hmm. And we are all of Suffolk County in New York. And we have people from all over the county. It's a pretty large county. It is, and we're fortunate because people can service all of Suffolk County. Yeah. It really gives us a lot of reach and lets us help a lot of folks different ways. Yeah. So, but thank you so much, and I just wanted to present that to you.
It really is live radio.
It's really, I wish you could see it. No, if you're on Facebook, you can. So yeah, it's official. Your name's on it and everything.
No, I can't deny it any longer.
No, you can't, nor can you go anywhere. So we're good. But today we want to discuss accountability, because we both have, and you know that I'm a coach, and you have coached and mentored in corporations as well.
Yes.
So let's talk about the importance of accountability. You know, people look at me and go, what do you mean you're going to be my accountability partner? And they kind of smirk. And I was like, okay, here we go. So why is it important to have somebody as an accountability partner?
Because ultimately you can set a goal, but if you never have somebody ask you, how are you doing? Where are you? We don't hold ourselves accountable in the way we think we do. And I think that's also where the fear is when you have an accountability partner, because we don't hold ourselves accountable.
It's true. Well, we give ourselves a lot of pass, and then it's I'll start that diet on Monday, or I'll start that exercise program on Monday because I ate this, bar right now. So instead of doing that, we say, wait a minute, what's wrong with the next minute? You could start again in the next minute.
Yeah.
So we made those choices. That's okay. Let's not beat ourselves up, but let's move forward and start now, not a week from now, not a month. That's just procrastination. So one thing that I found, and I know we've had this discussion privately, is that people make these resolutions that are huge. And not only do they make one, they make a bunch. I'm going to change this and this and this and this and this. It's like, yeah, I'm going to clean the house, every room, all at the same time, is basically what they're saying.
Yes.
And so I refer to it as a pizza. We don't eat pizza in one bite. We do it by the slice.
Right.
And even that we take nibbles on and bite. Well, some of us do. Some of us not so much. I've seen you eat pizza, Vince.
Nobody loves it more than me. That's why I'm wearing a jacket.
All right, it all works. Camouflage. But the same thing with our goals, right?
Right. And when you set too many goals, you're distracting yourself. You want to. I heard a phrase years and years ago. There was a really smart guy that was the leader of our organization, and he said, "My job is to keep the main thing the main thing." And the first time he said it, I'm like, "Well, that was genius." And the more I thought about it, it really is to keep the main thing the main thing. Right. One goal. What's that overarching stretch goal that I'm going to do everything I can to get there?
Yeah.
Right. And then it becomes almost a filter that if you're doing something, the question you want to ask you, does that help me get that goal accomplished?
Yes.
'Cause if not, it's distracting me from what I should be doing.
Yes. One of the number one things I see with my clients is they are distracted. That what happens before they come to me is that they have all these things coming. They're like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and I'm going to do this. And they try to do too many things at one time. And it is actually a form of procrastination. We just use it as distractor. But I'm doing this. Yeah, but that has nothing to do with you getting your goal here and staying in your train track so that you get to where you want to go. So I see a lot of people not succeed or take the steps forward, but when you get someone like a coach or a mentor, that person is there as an accountability partner saying, hey, that's a good idea. We don't want it to go away. Let's put it on the shelf right now. Let's stay here and stay focused. Let's get that revenue stream really flowing. And then we can add other services and other products, right?
Yeah. And I think that accountability partner, I like coach better because people are a little more amenable to it. They really help you see in an objective way because we all have filters about everything we do, right?
Well, I don't think you have filters.
That's true.
I was on the call this morning. I don't think there were filters involved.
Filters are not fun. But most people,
when you're being a big boy,
most rational people have filters, and when it's great to have somebody take a look. Years ago, when I would coach somebody about making a presentation, I said, make the presentation as somebody that doesn't know the business you're in and doesn't know the product you're using, right? Because if you can make them understand it, you're doing a great job.
Absolutely.
And that's a kind of a really low level of it. But an accountability coach is going to be the person that is going to look at it objectively and ask you the question you really wanted to ask yourself, but you don't want to really know the answer because you really do sometimes. You know when you start to deviate. You know when you're not putting in the time. Sometimes you also know when you're doing the wrong activities. You're working really hard, but on the wrong things.
Yeah. Wasting time. The number one question I ask is this bringing you forward to your goal? If you take this extra thing on, is it bringing you forward to your goal? And sometimes the answer is no, and that's okay too, as long as you're cognitive. Right. As long as it's in your mindset that you understand you're not getting closer to what you're doing, but you want to do X, Y, or Z. That's okay. There are days where I'm like, no, I cannot focus on work. I want to do something else. I want to distract myself. 9 times out of 10, when I go with that impulse and that instinct, 9 times out of 10, it allowed me to take that break I needed to get the inspiration to take that next step I needed towards my goal. Do you find that when you're doing that? Because I know you're a big goal setter.
I am. And I think that your point is so important because you do need those moments where I recognize this is not towards the goal. This is not the primary, but I need to do this now. And sometimes it's as simple as I need a walk.
Yeah.
I got to clear my head.
Yeah.
That's a huge help.
Yeah. Sometimes it's 5 minutes. Sometimes it's 20 minutes. It doesn't have to be a whole day.
2-3 days. No. Okay.
Really?
Well.
That's called a vacation.
Or a blackout.
Whichever. You had a good Valentine's Day.
It's a lot of fun. Thanks, honey.
That's great. Oh my goodness. So yeah, I mean, I love coaching because I'm able to sit there and ask the tough questions and really bring that vision clear. Tell us some of the things that you do when you're holding someone accountable and you're coaching. So
most of the time I'm observing behaviors and I'm putting those behaviors against what they set as a goal. So if you tell me you want to accomplish X and I look at your behaviors and kind of a locus of points are here and your goal is somewhere to the right side of where that locus of points is, I can help you recognize that great activity. I'm really proud of all the work you did, except I don't think we helped ourselves this week. Let's talk about why. You need to make that connection. And I think sometimes what really helps is I'll ask people to even consider volunteering to help somebody else as a coach because you're more receptive to it after you've done it. You go like, wow, I just really want that person to do very well. I get it now. And I want to hear, hey, listen, Lorianne, I did this week. Here's, what do you think of this? Now it's that coach has so much more value because you're appreciating the fact. It's not intimidating. No. It's more of you want that input.
And I don't know any coach that coaches people and wants them to fail.
Right.
You know, we're here to help you succeed. Matter of fact, it is, oh my God, the best feeling in the world when somebody achieves those goals and then turn around and go, oh my God, I did it. I really did it. And they get excited about it, and you see, and they get it. All of a sudden, I'll actually see the gears go click, 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 click.
Right.
I'm like, oh, all right. And we have spark, people. So, and it's exciting. It's really exciting to be a little part of that process, to allow them to, I call it almost like a cat. You ever see a cat play with a ball and it bats it and it bats it? You know, it takes its paws and it just keeps it between the paws. Similar to my bowling, I have to have those things in the alleys that keep the bumpers
Blocks
in the alley.
gutters,
Whatever. It's my nails. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. But it's the same thing. It just keeps you on track, and it's an exciting process to watch and be part of. But I was watching this show recently. I think it was. Oh gosh, I can't even remember the name of it. It's not Boardwalk. Oh, Billionaires. Right? So they have, like us, they have a coach on it. And this one coach comes on and he's like screaming at this guy. And I'm like, no, we don't do that.
Is that wrong?
Okay, stop that.
All right, fine. I have some phone calls to make.
All right, we have to make some amends. You can start making your list now on the back of your certificate.
Actually, that's one of the things that I've heard you say this, and I don't think people understand that. As a coach, sometimes you will say, you got to be able to forgive yourself, right?
Yeah.
And give yourself the opportunity to say, okay, you know what? You're right. Maybe it wasn't a great, or maybe that wasn't a good strategy, and it wasn't exactly, because if you can't forgive yourself, you're not going to move on. You spend too much time mulling over, I made this mistake. We're going to make a lot of mistakes.
Well, the best thing about mistakes, I kind of like mistakes now. I like failure. I like mistakes. They're not bad words to me anymore. They used to be very bad words, and I used to beat the bejeebas out of myself. No one could have said harsher things to me than I said to myself.
Yep.
No one. But then I discovered it's an opportunity. It's so exciting. It's an opportunity for learning. So if we don't repeat these failures, if we don't repeat these missteps, which are just perceived missteps, because in the end, we're supposed to go through this process to learn. You ever watch a baby? You ever watch a baby learn how to walk? Mm-hmm. They don't stop, throw themselves down on the floor and go, that's it, I'm done. So I'm not doing this anymore. I'm never walking. It's not happening. They don't. They get back up and they try again, and they fall down and they get back up and they try again. That's why we call it falling forward. We fall forward all the time. We fail forward. Right. But if you just add a little leg to that I, it's fall forward. And what that allows us to do is learn. And as long as we're not repeating, as I said, the same process. Otherwise, universe is going to give it to you again harder. It's the story I think I've told you before. It's like universe was trying to get my attention. It tapped on my shoulder and went, excuse me. And then I ignored it, and then it kind of slapped me in the arm. Excuse me. I kind of ignored the signs. Not kind of. I actually did ignore the signs. It punched me in the arm, and it was no longer excuse me. It was like, all right, blatantly, hello, anybody there? And then it ran me over with the truck backwards twice. I got it then. I'm hoping, and that's called a learning curve. Very long one.
Yeah, you like it subtle. It's okay.
Apparently. I like it subtle now. Now I go with the tap on the excuse me. But it's just a learning curve. So we have to stop beating ourselves up. And all of our success codes are already inside. It's just about recognizing what we're good at, recognizing where our weaknesses are. And that's not a bad thing, because where our weaknesses are, maybe things that we don't like to do. I don't enjoy math. I have people who do it for me, right? What are things that you find that you hire someone to do because you don't enjoy doing it with your work?
So I'm not a schedule person.
You're not a schedule person?
Shocking. I live and die by my schedule, but I tend to be 10 to 20 minutes late for everything. So
is that like a Massapequan thing or something?
It might
something
be.
from Nassau or something?
I'm from the Bronx. Well, if it's in Nassau, but I'm from the Bronx, so
it's true.
You know,
well, maybe it's just bleed
it's not
through
late.
from that.
We just come when we want.
It's like I'm here,
right? But so I literally do. I have a branch manager that, like, one of the charters that I've asked is, okay, here's what I need you to do. 5 minutes before an appointment is supposed to end, I want a little, we have a little pop-up that says, hey, start to wrap up because I have another appointment. I don't want to keep somebody else waiting.
It's not an icon that goes, shh, Vince.
Wouldn't work.
It's true.
That's why my chair has wheels. She can wheel me out into the next office.
As you continue to talk.
Wait. But so it's okay. And it's very funny because when I brought this lady in, I looked at her and I said, this is my worst skill set. I cannot stay on, I will get all the work done, but I cannot stay on my schedule. So I need you to come in and say that, that's it. And it's funny because even clients will start to laugh because when they see her, they know that, okay, we're just about done, aren't we? I go, I guess so. The boss came in. So but you have to be able to be comfortable about that. It's like, that's not what I do well. That's just not my skill set.
But look at what you do by doing that. You recognize that is not your skill set. You put in place something to assist your skill set, so it no longer is your worst skill set. You just need an assist. So even Barkley needs an assist when he's playing. So why not you when you're doing what you're doing? So, and that's something that I watch people do. They like spend all this time doing stuff they hate doing. They're like, oh, I can't. I'm like, why are you just not hiring somebody? You just said that we were just having so we coach each other as well.
Yes,
because coaches coach each other. And coaches have coaches. But you were just coaching me on something and you're like, why don't you just hire somebody to do that? It was like that Seinfeld episode. Why don't you just tell me which movie?
All roads lead back to Seinfeld.
It really does. At least in our conversations.
No, but that's true. It's a natural instinct, and we do ask each other questions to sometimes help us process, and frankly, I'll give you the other side of it. You were receptive. You answered the question and you let me kind of lead you through a little bit of a pathing. And it wasn't because I wanted you to do a certain thing or make a certain decision. I wanted you to make your best decision and then follow it to what do I need to do. Yeah. And so I'm just asking the question that you would probably ask yourself, but sometimes we need somebody else to just kind of inch us over to it.
No, I totally agree with that. And working in your business and on your business are two different things. So it's a different mindset. It really is. And what you did was you were able to pull me out because like I'm sitting there working in my business and I'm treading water and I can't see what you can see from the outside. So you lend a great deal of vision that I don't have right now because I'm immersed. And that's what it is. And real important when you have a coach. I've heard the term used, you need to be coachable. That means receptive, right?
Right. Well, it does. And sometimes I think a good coach also appreciates when you push back. Right. So just because you asked me the question or you gave me a thought, I'm not going to accept it because I may see it differently. And I want to hear your thought. I want to hear you expand on it. I think good coaches will explain the why.
Well, you should explain the why. I totally agree with that. Yeah. And I like it when the clients push back at me because that means they have a stance on something and it's good. Sometimes I ask the question to make sure they know why they're doing what they're doing. Right. And so the pushback is awesome. And when they get real passionate about it, it's like, I'm not changing this because this is why I do blah, blah, blah. I'm like, perfect. Right. And they stop dead like, what? I'm like, no, that's exactly right. I just wanted to make sure you knew the steps that you were taking and why you were taking them. So have you worked with people who were not receptive?
I have. Yeah. I have. And I have a philosophy, actually, I've shared with peers in my current assignment. Essentially, if you want to be coached, I'm all in. Mm-hmm. I'm available when you want to talk. I'll give you my honest opinion. You can count on, the candid feedback, and you can count on confidentiality. You can't count on me following you, chasing you, saying, really, we need to talk about this. Well, we need some time. No, I don't do that. This is an agreement between us. And frankly, it is for you. And if you don't want it, I've got other things to do. Yeah.
It's, I find when I have clients where I'm more invested in their business than they are, That's the point where I know I'm out.
Right.
I'm out because, we're here to give you a 360 view of what's going on, give you as much information so you can make the best decision for you for what you're doing. And at the end, it's always their decision, right?
Right.
So that being receptive, allowing a space to allow us to do what we do for you, and then being accountable by showing up and showing up big. Oh, where do you hear that? Oh, that's right here at the end of every show. Showing up for you and showing up big. That's what we're talking about. But you're listening to Healthy Lifestyle with Lorianne, and we're here with the great, fabulous Vince Perrotta. That's right. Man who just got a certificate because he was a chapter founder.
It's going on my refrigerator.
I love that. There's no magnet on the back. You'll have to
I'll
have
find
that.
a way.
Okay. No doubt. I'm sorry to your wife already. So we are going to take a short break and come back and talk about the differentiation of working in your business and working on your business. We will be right back. Welcome back to Healthy Lifestyle with Lorianne. This is Lorianne, and we're here with Vince Perrotta. As you were listening, hopefully you were listening to us in the first half, we were talking about accountability, and we're going to talk about working in and on your business. But before that, if you have any questions, comments, or ideas you'd like to share with us, please email us at healthylifestylewithla@gmail.com. We love hearing from you. We actually got slammed last week. So last time you were on, lots and lots of question, Vince.
Why was I here?
Mostly like, why do you
back?
have him?
Right.
Darn, you stepped right on it.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I set it up. You hit it out of the park. So anyway, so we were talking before about working in and on your business. We had this conversation. I'd love your input on the importance of the separation of that.
And that's so important. You've actually brought that to light and kind of kept it top of mind for me, because you'll always say, are you working on your business or in your business right now? Or, tell me when you're working on your business. And so the difference being that obviously when you're working on it, you're trying to grow it. Whether it's getting new clients, new customers, building your product line, whatever that is. Working in your business is actually providing that product or service, doing the thing that you want to do.
The day-to-day, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because we will get mired in the day-to-day and forget to lift our head up and say, okay, what is important? What are we trying to achieve this year? What's that main goal, right? How do we keep the main thing the main thing?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And working in our business too, like you said, you're just you're putting out fires, you're doing the day-to-day, you're taking those phone calls, you have that to-do list that you never get to done because you're so busy just putting out fires.
I know, I keep saying I want to catch up enough to be behind.
That's a good saying. I like that. I will be using that. No, but it's true. It's really important. So I usually, when speaking with clients, I usually have them schedule working on their business time, actually doing blocking. I'm a big believer in time blocking.
So am I.
You do time blocking?
Yep.
Well, you have your assistant do time blocking.
Actually, I do it. That's funny.
You do?
I do it because I know how my time should be spent. I'm just not good at sticking to it.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Okay.
So if you and I meet and I have an appointment with you, if we're going to run 15, 20 minutes late, I just, I'm going and I don't like to interrupt people, and that's a discipline. And that's why, again, I call myself out on it. I'm not good at that.
Yeah. That's why they have things called alarms on your phones.
Do those things mean? I love the bells. They're really nice sound.
It's not. You're not supposed to sing along, Vince. It means something.
Everything's got a rule.
Mine gongs. It's like ding. I was like, okay, apparently we are done. Next. No, it's a little more subtle than that, but yeah, it's real important to do those things and to have those time blocks. And what time blocking is, for those who don't know what it is you actually block out time on your schedule where you're going to do such and such, and you're going to work on your business. You're going to have those conversations so that you can, and I differentiate in and on with also that on is visionary. You're gonna. What are the next steps we're gonna take? What are the things we need to accomplish to take those next steps to get us to those goals? Right. And the blocking helps a lot because it's non-negotiable.
That's right.
We don't ever put a client in those spots. So I usually use Mondays and Fridays for that because it allows me to swing clients who need to do an adjustment of time into open spots, but that's a choice. So there's a difference. The non-negotiable is I have to work on my business. But if I'm not working with them during their normal time slot or with the mastermind groups during that normal time slot, that means the whole thing is being shifted into another day. That time slot then becomes my working on my business slot.
Right.
So that non-negotiable means I have to exchange that hour for hour.
Right. And we talked about the commitment you make to your coach, right? You're going to show up for you, as you like to say. I think there's also a commitment to yourself in, if I make a plan, do I really work the plan? It's nice to put, I'm definitely going to do, and this is going to be, and then
call it a resolution, get it over with.
Right. Because you've got to do those things. And typically we will time block the thing we don't like with the best of intention.
Right.
And then kind of blow over it because we have good I needed to see Lorianne. I needed that extra time. I did, but then I needed to take something else away, like you suggested. Yeah. So we can't let ourselves out of that. We need to that's a little bit of self-awareness and accountability to your own planning and staying true to yourself.
Yeah, I said to someone the other day, they were saying, well, I don't have time for this. And I was like, hold on for a second. So if you're telling me, if I called you up and said, do me a favor, Vince, meet me at the Starbucks across the street at 2:00 tomorrow, and you already have plans and everything going on, and your whole schedule is slammed. But if you show up, you're going to get $1 million. Would you show up? Would you figure it out?
Of course.
So that's what it is about working on your business. It's getting you to that next level. It's getting you to the next, a 6-figure, 7-figure, whatever the case may be, income, because you're working on your business. That's how important it is. And so many of us just work day to day,
right?
And they find themselves in that little wheel, with the mouse.
And do we ever ask ourselves what the value of the task is?
I never ask myself anything. The answers are really wild.
So I love conversations with myself.
I never argue.
No, you don't. Yes, you do. But it's great to ask yourself when you're working together, when you're working, to say, what's the real value of what I'm doing at this very moment?
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like, oh, this is great, because certain things feel good. Like if you're a very organized person, I'm going to make sure I file all of these things. We're going to make sure they're in their exact. But if you didn't file that, and maybe you were working on your business to get a new client, perfect a product, change your campaign, work on your website. Wouldn't that bring more value than those really nice files all neatly put away?
Well, define value, because there's value for that neatly filed away, because there's a certain common sense of organization brings a sense of calm and control. And that's really a subterfuge as well. But with that said, there's a value in that. But you're talking value to your business,
correct,
meaning forwarding to the goal of making more money by bringing in more clients, or having better messaging, or having a website that really reflects the business that you're doing, right? So there's value in both.
There is.
But there's a category for value.
Right.
Right?
There is.
Yeah.
And appreciating that and asking yourself that question, you'd be surprised when you answer several times and you go, wow, this really isn't that useful. It's a nice to do. I like to call them the nice to do's and the gotta do's, right? Gotta do's you can't get away from. Those are the things, I need this because I need to make sure I'm successful.
Right.
The nice to do's are the things you do. You have a little extra time. Okay. You know what? Maybe an appointment got canceled. Great. That's a great time to fill in some of your nice to do's. Yeah. That works.
Yeah. I call it the paper shuffle. Have you ever done the paper shuffle? You move it from the right side of your desk to the left side of your desk. You put it in a nice, now you color coordinated your files, and all right, I do that. But anyway, so don't judge. So those are called a paper shuffle. That's, again, those are time wasters. And we do it because we're not sure where to start. And the best solution for that is just take the top paper and address it. Forget about the rest. Because I've had piles of paper before all over my desk. And then I look at it and I put it into one pile and start with one. Yep. And you'd be surprised how quickly that goes. It really goes quickly. An exercise I do a lot, I don't know if I've done this with you or if you do this with your clients, but we do the top 100 list of what your incompletes and undone projects. So you walk around your house and all these little things that were like annoying you to death. I'm not talking about me right now. Stop looking at me.
Okay.
Those things around that you're doing in your office or what have you. The little piece of what do they call that stuff at the bottom of the side of the doors?
The jams?
No.
Bottom sides.
No. Come on.
Sounds like two words. Okay.
Looks like. Anyway, you're missing pieces on the wall.
Okay.
That you have to put the.
What goes on in your
coping.
house?
What is
pieces
that called?
Of the wall?
What is it called on the bottom of the trim? Molding.
Okay.
That's it. Ding, ding, ding. We found it. Oh my gosh. 5 minutes later.
I'll
Sorry,
take house
people.
categories for 200, please. Sorry.
If you were watching the Facebook, you could see the Facebook show. You could see that I'm talking wildly and showing with my hands on the radio. It just doesn't have the same effect.
The show.
I know, seriously.
By the way, she just landed a plane also. So we're very happy.
Sorry about that. And you're welcome. Your baggage will be in a minute. For those of you who don't know, our studio is in the MacArthur Airport. So we watch people come over to baggage all the time. Stop it. So what was I talking about? Oh, yeah, the 100. So the incompletes. So these are things that we haven't completed. Quick story about the incompletes. I was doing my list. Mm-hmm. And every morning I get my coffee downstairs and I have an office upstairs in my house that I go back to. And I'm bringing my coffee up. And every day I was going up the stairs and I go, because in the corner of my eye, I would see this cord that was coming from my salt lamp. Yes, I have a salt lamp. I actually have 4. But anyway, so the cord is coming and you can see it across the wall. It was driving me nuts. And all I needed to do was get an extension cord. That's all I needed to do. And sure enough, I stopped one day and went, enough. Because every time I would go up to my office, I'd go, oh my God, I got to take care of that. And I would write it down on my list with all the other things that I had to do. Didn't take priorities. Those are the nice things to do, but not the gotta do's, right? So I stopped for a second, put my coffee down, went downstairs, grabbed an extension cord, took care of it. It took less than 2 minutes and it was done. And as I'm walking up the stairs, I felt very accomplished. Right. And it was actually freeing because I wouldn't have to get the feeling every morning because I would walk up and it was done. Those are the things that you put on the list. Those little things that if you just spend 2 minutes, it's done.
Right.
If you just take care of them and cross them slowly off the list. And then we break that list down, the 100 list down into do it, delegate it, dump it, or delay it. And so the do-its are obvious. You're going to do those right away. Boom, boom, boom. You're going to get those taken care of. The delegated, I love those. It's not me job. It's a you job. Vince, take care of it. Or whatever. Give it to my son. Give it to my VA, my virtual assistant, whatever the case may be. Those get delegated away.
Right.
You'd be surprised at how quickly the list starts to drop. The dump-its are... It's been sitting on my desk. I have a pile on the corner of my desk. That stuff has been sitting there for like 2 years. I haven't even looked at it. I just threw it out. If it was important, it will come back up. I will be able to find it again, especially with the internet. It's not a big deal.
See, it's funny you said that because years ago I had a mentor who was really terrific. He was one of the best.
Thank you. Oh, not me.
You were too young. You wouldn't have been there. So
that was really nice. You got points on that one.
That was good, huh?
Stop laughing.
That's not me. It's the producer.
Michael.
But he said to me, every time you pick something up, put a dot in the corner, and when you get to 3 dots, throw it away. Because he said, if you pick something up 3 times, you're never going to do it. If you don't pick it up on the 3rd time and do it, and it was interesting because I started doing that. And there are some things, you pick it up, you go, oh, I'm not going to do that right now, but this is important. I got to do it, but I'm going to put a dot on it because I picked it up. That's 1. You get to 3, you actually make a critical decision on things. You're like, no, you know what? I'm never going to do this. And you start to, as you were saying, clear that pile out and really do, because not everything is important, and prioritization is one of the hardest things when you're running your business. Not everything is important.
And those things, they were sitting there and you probably had good intention, but also as we navigate doing our business takes turns and changes. That might have been good 3 months ago, but it no longer really applies to our business anymore because we went in a different direction.
That's right.
So dump it. The other thing is delay it. These are things that may have 2 dots and you're still not ready for it. It's an idea that you had that you're shelving. You're still not ready for it. Put it in a folder.
Right.
Put it away. Put it in a folder. It's your delay folder. When you have that free moment, you could look at it again. I guarantee you most of those things in the delay folder will be the 3 dots that you throw out and dump it eventually, because we cycle this. I look at the incompletes list as picture yourself in a library sitting in the middle of the floor, surrounded by books piled on top of each other, all open to a different chapter. Each one of those chapters in the book is something that you haven't finished. You haven't completed that book. You haven't completed that webinar that you spent, $29 for.
Again.
Yeah, it's so true. So as you do those incompletes, you get to shut those books, and then suddenly you're sitting in the middle of the floor and you don't have all that clutter around you, which opens up the space to invite in new. When we have all that clutter in our head, when we have all these things to remember, when you were a kid, milk and eggs and cream. What did mom tell you to get? Milk and eggs and cream. You repeat it to yourself. Well, that's what's happening in your head with these to-dos, because you're not writing them down, you're not getting them to done, and you're also putting these things aside that you want to do someday.
Right.
Someday's not now. Bring it up again someday, right? At a later point.
And someday never comes. You're right. That's one of the really good habits that you can build into yourself, the ability to acknowledge, I'm not going to do this.
Yeah.
I have to accept. And if it is important, that's something, and you mentioned a little earlier, but I want to come back to that. If it is important and it needs to get done, but you know that you're not going to do this, then that's where you need to ask yourself, do I need somebody to do this?
Yeah.
Do I have to, delegate
it?
Right.
Yeah.
And it's delegating is hard because it's my business, my control, right?
Yeah.
It's all about my control.
Yes.
And listen, that's wonderful. That's why you're successful. But one of the best skills you can learn is, what can I have someone else do that I don't need to focus my 100% attention on?
Delegation is actually a very good skill to learn. And trust. It's just trust. And you know what happens with delegation that I found out, because, being a reformed control freak. All right, maybe
reformed?
Maybe not so reformed, but thanks, Vince. What I found is the collaboration. They'll take, I work with a board right now in one of the adventures that I'm on. And I find that I might throw an idea out there. They take that idea and make it so much better. So the collaborative mind is so much stronger than the singular one. So we take it to that next level. We allow it to take it to the next level. It breathes a different breath. So much better. It always is so much better.
It is. And very smart people recognize that I don't have to be the smartest kid in class. I have to be smart enough to find the brightest kids in class and get their help and expertise. And what you do is you end up building relationships. Those people will work with you, and it becomes this interdependent, relationship. And now you've created kind of a non-formal coach, an informal coach. And that person is going to look at you sometimes and go, why are you doing that? That's probably, let me take that off your plate. Or can we get somebody to do this?
Yeah.
It's really good to do, like you were saying, have that group of folks that you go to, that board, to kind of give you that advice.
Yeah, it's really helpful. And it's so funny that you said informal coaches. I was coaching for so many years before I formalized that I was a coach. And I had been advising people for many years and asking those questions like, do you really want to do that? That doesn't look, because I do have a little bit of a superpower of seeing 7 to 10 steps down from whatever we're talking about here. I can already visualize where it's going if you go in that track. If maybe you take another route, it may be a better route, but that's up to you. I lay out the 360. You make the decision of which track you're going to run, and that's a real important element. Again, importance of accountability. Circling back to where we started, all about accountability is that person, whether they're a coach, a mentor, a friend, a bestie. You want raving fans in your corner. That's the other thing. Is I'm a raving fan of all of my clients. I think all of them are brilliant in their respective jobs and what they're doing and their visioning. And I do use the word brilliant because it was their brainchild, that this is their baby that they're putting together. I'm just kind of helping it on the way. And some of them have toddlers now, I'm so proud of. But it's that vision that I love to see, and then help them actually accomplish that vision. Because we all have these great ideas, and go, wow, wouldn't it be great if we had this? And then somebody else comes up with it, and they're like, oh, I should have done it. And the shoulda, woulda, coulda is. People don't have shoulda, woulda, couldas if they have a coach, because the coach stops the shoulda, woulda, couldas.
Right.
Because if you should, just do it. Right?
Well, in the end, the people who have that commitment, the people who stay true to it, and the coaches help them do it, those are the ones that are successful. Yeah. They fall down a lot. There's,
it's okay.
People always look at you and they go, wow, look, you're wildly successful. and they don't know the book that was behind there of, you know, all the mistakes and errors and, you know, hard times and difficult to get to successful. That's the end point.
Well, we see them at that end point, at that success point. We don't see the track that gets them there. So we've all had those steps and those, but we learn along the way. It's those who learn and continue to push through. So if you don't give up, you continue to push forward, you're gonna get there. And I do want to share, this is a personal thought, and it was an observation my wife had about me many years ago. Oh dear God.
I'm not going to talk about that.
Okay, good.
My therapist said I'm doing much better. But it was that I love the climb more than I love the achievement.
Yeah.
Like I'll get to, you set a wildly ambitious goal and you get there. And then I'm kind of like, okay.
What's next?
But that climb was so much fun. It's like, I'm almost there. Oh my God, this is so hard. Wait a minute, I can get around this. This is another way to do it.
Yeah.
So that climb is great because it stretches you mentally, right? And really, it uses everything that you have in skills.
Well, the journey is the fun part.
It's the fun part. And sometimes you forget that. You're like, oh, because this didn't work out and you had a failure. So what? Now this is your best moment. It's how do you get past that? How do you overcome that?
And maybe it saved you. And maybe it pushed you in the direction you were supposed to go in. So I look at those as opportunities to go, okay, maybe I'm not going in the right direction and the little cat is batting me or universe is giving me a sign to go in a different direction. Go with the tap. Acknowledge that, okay, let me try something else. And you do. I watch you shift a lot. And it's really, you do it so seamlessly. And you make it look easy. So that's one of the things when you're observing people who do it seamlessly, you've had practice doing that.
Thank you.
Vince, I adore having you on.
So much fun.
Can't wait till you come back next month, and we're going to continue to talk about coaching and how we can help you and maybe how you can help me. I'm not sure.
Pizza.
Pizza. It always ends in pizza. Thank you all for joining us today on Healthy Lifestyle with Lorianne. I am privileged to have you all listening and have you participate in this from week to week. So as I normally say, play a higher role, serve a higher purpose, show up for you, and what? Show up
for you.
big.
Big.
Show up big.